Ew. No, I'm just kidding. It's dusty. It's not that bad. But what we're looking at right here is my buddy's guitar, his SG, with a special Tony Iommi pickup. And there's some goofy stuff that I brought to his attention. You can see that it should be like yay, but because of the pickguard and the technology when they built these guitars, it's just the way it is. The curvature of the neck is pretty substantial, but it's not a big deal. There's a special tool that we need to do, which is basically a socket wrench to get into that joker right there, straighten the neck, and then be able to do what we need to do. Now, so explaining to him, you can see at the top of these frets right there how wide that point of contact is right there. So when you see anything that doesn't look like a point, you know what I mean? It's like you can see the space over the top of it. It's been flattened, it's been leveled and everything like that. And that helps reduce the buzz, and that's great. This guitar plays great. It sounds great. What we're going to do is we're going to take the pick guard off. We're going to sit there and put a shim underneath it to sit there and push this pickup a little bit forward. It's not going to do much. I mean, it's like, maybe an eighth of an inch, but it'll definitely help with when you raise the pickup up. It'll give it more gain. It'll give it a more solid tone. But that's just the way it is. And you never know. When I open this thing up, I'll probably discover something totally different. But in all fairness, it's in pretty good shape. There's no massive dings or dents or anything like that. I mean, there's a little bit of chipping along the sides of the binding. I'm glad I don't have to refret this bastard. But we will be able to clean this up. Some gouges here. We'll go clean it up, but we'll just take a look at the overall. Get rid of the pick scrapes and clean this thing up and shine up the fretboard, and it will look great. There's a start. This is the pickup back that you can see from here to here. It is definitely a differently designed humbucker. So we will probably not do very many mods on that, but this is a Gibson USA pickup. That is the Tony Iommi Special. So everything's all good. Very simple. This was different. They put those screws right in the body. Can't be really removed, but they're just like screws just sitting right out of the body. That's how you take that thing off. So getting on with it, we've got a 24 3/4 scale. So I've already used this thing. Let's get this on there. I've already used there's a slight bit of play in this. Just the tiniest bit. So I have a 8mm on the end of this. Just tighten it up just a bit. If I can remove all that play. Yeah, it's straight. Okay. Now we know the neck is straight. Come and just check with our fret rocker. Because it looks like somebody had definitely leveled these frets before. But they're pretty good right now. But now we see this. Yeah, so this fret right here, that's definitely high. So we're going to take a Sharpie, mark that. It's definitely there. Come over here. Good. Good. So we'll get another high fret. Just pretty much here. So I just mark half of this. Check all the rest of them. Not much. Just a little bit over here. So this is what this file does. It's a Z file. Basically has this kind of offset like look to it. There you go. You see it's kind of just set like that. So when we crown the fret, it only brings it right to that point. So the idea is we want to take off all the edges and just leave a fine pinstripe on the top of the fret. So this gives you a perfectly rounded edge. So you can see right here, it's just a fine line. I know the shadow's a little hard to see, but you see how it's just kind of a pinstripe on top of that. So you can see, there you go, it's a better look at it. You can see. So that'll be, when I polish this, that's the actual point of contact. Before, he was playing on these really kind of flat surfaces right here. So if you kind of think of like if it was a fretless guitar, you'd have a point here and here, and that's just enough when you're moving intonation to make it sound completely off. So you can see all the flat spots on all these frets. So you could theoretically play like this, and some people will never notice, but if you actually play with a perfectly crowned fret, just like this is right now, it's going to have that round edge, so it's going to be a really accurate difference as far as like when you're just playing chords on the high end from the low end. So we see the difference when I mark this fret, how much surface area is there compared to the one next to it. So that's a big difference. See all of the pinstripes that are on the frets. So they are going to be much better when they actually get finished. So we'll just check them one more time, just for a quick level with the fret rocker. And everything should be good. Yeah, everything is perfect. See, the whole idea is that if you take off too much of the crown, what you're basically doing is creating an unlevel fret again. So when you leave that pinstripe, that's the top portion of the fret that didn't get removed, so they're all dead level still. So we'll go ahead and get this thing cleaned up, get all the dust off of it, polish the fretboard, and polish the body a bit, get this thing strung up, and get it ready to go. We got all of the pieces all cleaned up. Took that whole thing apart. Polished everything that I possibly could. Got the frets crowned, leveled, and basically polished. This is what it looks like before I do the final polishing with the Dremel and the rubbing compound. And I haven't cleaned the neck completely. It's just, it's cleaned up. It's got all the grime off, but it's not the color it's going to be. But buffed the body, neck, looking really good. So just by comparison, we can see that's what the frets look like. Now, this is what they look like afterwards. It completely mirrors. Major difference in that. And that will give this guitar an incredibly smooth, take this thing off here, incredibly smooth playing feel, you know, for string bending and vibrato and all that kind of good stuff. But that is a huge difference in the tone and the playability as well.